All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out my show. So, this may be a funny title, but I'm going to call it What's Wrong with the Midlife Crisis? And I think a lot of times when we think of midlife crisis, we think of a guy flipping out. And let me put this first. When I say a midlife crisis, I'm not talking about some guy or some woman that flips out, gets a divorce, or goes out and starts cheating and all that type of shit. I'm just talking about somebody that, when it comes to a midlife crisis, I guess you could say, is somebody who starts changing their lifestyle at a certain age, middle age. And it could be, when you say middle age, really middle age is 40. I think a lot of people think, oh no, middle age is in your 50s. Very few people, especially men, live to 100, even women. Let's call it for what it is. Most, I think, are around 80. I mean, I don't have the stats, they're always changing. But let's face it, most people live around 80 years old. So 40 is midlife, right? But they don't think about it that way. Anyways, but what I'm talking about with this podcast specifically is people, I think, need to have a midlife crisis, which you may be like, you're out of your mind. But I'm not telling you to have a midlife crisis and you have to flip out and go buy a Corvette if you're a guy, or if you're a girl, have a midlife crisis to go lose a ton of weight, or get on pills to lose weight, or go extreme, if you want to get, your breasts done, or get an ass implant, or do whatever the hell you want to do to make yourself look better. I don't want you to do anything that's going to hurt you, but kind of flipping out and realizing, oh my God, I'm old and I only have a certain amount of time, I'm going to die. Or also midlife crisis, going out and partying and drinking and trying to do things maybe you did in your youth, or trying to keep up with things because you feel like you've maybe missed out because you had kids and did all these other things. And again, you're more welcome to it. But what I kind of think a lot of times, because I'm doing this anti-aging experiment, it's actually called the anti-aging experience. And I remember I was always with my daughters when I had kids, right? And I was always going to all the different parks. I lived in Orlando, Florida. I never stopped going, hanging in restaurants. Again, when I tell you parks, I had year passes to all the Disney parks, all 6, Universal, SeaWorld, Wet n Wild. All we did was have a blast. I wanted my kids to live the dream, that they were princesses. And they loved it. And it was them doing it. Don't think I was forcing it, along with other things, with obviously private schooling and all these other things. I wanted to give my kids, like a lot of people, everything I could and have a blast while doing it. But after my divorce, I think a lot of people, because I started to travel with work and I was living in California and kind of coming to Florida a lot, maybe being around a lot of different, truthfully beautiful women, and just, again, living a different lifestyle that I lived with my kids. Everyone's like, you're going through a midlife crisis. I'm like, the reality is this is always who I was. Not much has changed. I mean, I'm not married now. Take out the married equation. But I lost weight because I didn't feel good, but I was already losing weight when I was married. And it wasn't because I was getting divorced, I was losing weight. I was just always way overweight. I mean, I was built, but I was just really overweight. So the thing is, people just started saying these things to me, and I was thinking, it's funny that they're saying this to me because I'm actually feeling better and getting healthier after my divorce to a certain degree. And of course, I didn't want to get a divorce, but I looked better and I felt better. And I started to do a lot of things that I also wanted to do. And that didn't mean I wasn't doing them when I was married. But when they looked at me, I used to say, this is not a midlife crisis. This is just me evolving and changing into something that I want to change into that's better for me, especially health-wise. Because I think a lot of times too, and if you know anything really about me, I talk about relationships a lot. When you sometimes are in a relationship, especially a marriage for a substantial amount of time, and say you both don't work out or both of you aren't in the best of shape, one wants to get in shape, and you're like, the other one almost frowns upon it. Or one wants to start eating better, the other one frowns upon it. One wants to start working out, the other one kind of frowns upon it because they're not interested. And then all of a sudden the person who wants to start getting in better shape, starts to do that, and the other one's thinking, why is he doing this? Or why is she doing this? Are they cheating? Are they trying to make me look bad? They're going to be in shape, I'm going to be out of shape. Is this how this is going to look? Now I got to get in shape. All these type of things. And, you can't, when it comes to health and wellness or anti-aging, I don't mean to be an asshole. You have to do it for yourself. You have to do it for yourself. If you're afraid to look the way you want to look or look better because somebody else is kind of, not wanting you to maybe look better or not willing to be a part of that, you got to really take an honest approach and say, what type of person is that? Because anyone that I'm around, I want them to look and feel their best if that's what they want. I'm also somebody who takes an honest approach. I got a lot of friends that love to eat that are way out of shape and don't give a shit. And I'm willing to hang out and eat with them as well. It's not like I'm going to ever tell them what they should or shouldn't be doing either. It's not like, how would I say this too? Back to the midlife crisis. Let's just say this because I want to keep these short. I know it has a funny term. Again, we always think about somebody who flipping out, doing all those things, but have fun with it. And I talk a lot about being youthful. If having a midlife crisis makes you feel more youthful, go do it. I don't know. I love motorcycles. I almost got one in my early 40s, and it was kind of almost an omen, a sign, I should say, not an omen. I'm like, you know what? I was hanging out with a lot of young guys. I was valet parking. I kind of fell on hard times. But I went and worked at the top valet park place in Orlando. There was like 50 of us. A lot of them love souped up cars and motorcycles, and I've always loved them. Even though I don't like doing this, I get on the back and cruise with them just real close locally. I'm like, my God, do I love a motorcycle. I said, you know what, I'm going to just go get a motorcycle. I don't care. So I went, my father had a restaurant it was called the Italian Bistro. I went in there and a guy had just wiped out on his motorcycle previously and just literally got out of the hospital. And he had 2 metal rods for his legs. Somebody hit him. I said, am I crazy? But that's extreme. But I'm telling you, if you're having a midlife crisis and you want to start, feeling better, looking better, it may start with things like that, not always just going health and wellness. You may want to go find a car that you always wanted, maybe when you're younger, a vintage car. You may want to start hanging out at a place that you've always wanted to hang out, that maybe there's more youthful people there. That again, even if you're married or in a relationship, doesn't mean you're out to cheat. You may have always wanted to take dance classes in your past and learned how to dance. Just whatever you want to maybe experiment with, or what you love to do in your past. I will officially wrap it up with this, with my anti-aging. Go back maybe to do the things you love to do in your past. You can do now if you're married or in a relationship or something like that, and you want to start dating younger women, that's not going to work. But what I am saying is, if you do like to go to a nightclub maybe once in a while, take your wife or your girlfriend. If you do like to maybe even go to certain spots you forgot about, I don't know if it's restaurants again, it may be an old gym. I love going to my old school gyms if they're open that I used to go to in my 20s and 30s, even playing old school music maybe when you're working out. And again, if you used to go surf in your 20s and 30s and you're in your 50s now, go back and revisit it. I'm telling you, that's what it's about. Those things are not only going to hopefully, make you feel better. Some of the things you're going to be doing hopefully are going to make you more healthier. And that's kind of what I want to teach in my anti-aging experiment, or experience, I should say, with people, is learning it's okay to be and think youth when you're getting older. I think a lot of people frown upon it. In my opinion, I've always hang out with a lot of young people. I hang out with all different age demographics. One is I have a massive family. 2 is I love young people. I love being around them. They're funny. They're exciting. They have a lot of energy. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up. But do not be afraid of the midlife crisis. But don't let it destroy your life. I do know a lot of people that do flip out middle-aged, that all of a sudden go out and spend too much money, end up in a lot of debt, or flip out and kind of, maybe get a divorce and later realize that, it wasn't, being single, maybe not for them, and all these things. Just make sure you think it through. But if you are kind of doing something like that, use it to your advantage. And I always say, me and my girlfriend, and we just said it the other day because I was looking at a motorcycle, I'm not going to get it. I said, people are still telling me and her, they still say we're having a midlife crisis. I'm like, we're going on 53. I'm like, no, we just enjoy our life. Sometimes when you just enjoy your life differently than other people are living them, doesn't mean you're having a midlife crisis. That just means you're living an exciting life. So maybe it's time for you to do the same. All right? Got any questions or comments? Feel free to hit me up. I'm at rich@richcelenza.com.